Imagine for a moment that you wake up to a world plunged into civil war. How would you survive? The question might send chills down your spine, but it's a scenario worth considering. The world we live in is unpredictable, and the unthinkable can occur when we least expect it. In a modern-day civil war, the challenges would be manifold, and survival would require more than just physical strength. Consider the potential scenarios. Cities could become battlegrounds. Supply chains for food, water, and essential commodities could be disrupted. Power grids might fail, plunging neighborhoods into darkness. Communication networks could be compromised, isolating individuals and communities. The familiar rhythms of daily life would be replaced by uncertainty and fear. In such a scenario, the immediate challenges would be finding safe shelter, securing a reliable source of food and water, and ensuring personal safety. But the long-term challenges could be even more daunting. How would you maintain your health without access to medical facilities? How would you keep warm in winter if heating systems were non-functional? How would you communicate with others or get news about what's happening around you? Survival in a modern civil war would also require a set of skills that most of us don't possess in this age of convenience. Could you start a fire without matches or a lighter? Could you navigate without a GPS or a map? Could you forage for food in the wild or purify water to make it safe for drinking? The importance of preparedness in such a scenario cannot be overstated. It's not about stocking up on canned food and bottled water, though those would certainly come in handy. It's about acquiring survival skills, understanding the environment, and being mentally prepared to face the challenges that come your way. Survival in such a scenario isn't about being the fittest or the strongest, but the most prepared. Knowledge of your surroundings is a vital survival tool. So where do you start? Well, in the throes of an unforeseen civil war, understanding your environment becomes as crucial as the air you breathe. It's not just about knowing north from south or city streets from country lanes. It's about recognizing the subtle shifts, the hidden dangers, and the potential lifelines that your environment presents. Begin by identifying safe zones. These are places where you can find refuge, rest, and resupply. Safe zones could be anything from an abandoned house, a dense forest, or even a concealed underground bunker. The key is to find locations that offer protection from both the elements and potential threats. Speaking of threats, let's delve into that a bit more. In a civil war, threats can come from all directions. These include enemy combatants, but also less obvious dangers like unexploded ordnance, unstable buildings, or even contaminated water sources. It's essential to be vigilant, to be aware, and to make informed decisions based on the potential risks in your vicinity. But it's not all doom and gloom. Your environment can also provide you with vital resources. From wild edibles to water sources, from materials for shelter to tools for self-defense. Understanding how to utilize your environment to your advantage is a skill that could mean the difference between survival and surrender. It's also important to remember that your environment is ever-changing. Weather conditions, seasons, human activity, all these factors can drastically alter your surroundings. Staying adaptable, staying flexible, and staying observant are key to navigating these changes. So, start today. Learn about your local flora and fauna, familiarize yourself with different terrains and weather patterns, understand basic survival skills like navigation, foraging, and shelter building. These are the tools that will help you thrive in even the most challenging environments. Remember, in a civil war, your environment becomes your ally or your enemy. Knowledge and adaptability are your best weapons, so arm yourself with them and turn the tables in your favor. Survival isn't a luxury, it's a necessity, and necessities require essentials. In the midst of a civil war, the basics of life, food, water, shelter, and first aid can become scarce commodities. But with a little knowledge and resourcefulness, these essentials can be sourced or even created. Let's start with sustenance. Food is fuel for the body and mind, and hunting or foraging may be necessary. Familiarize yourself with local wildlife and edible plants. Remember, you can't always rely on convenience stores or fast food chains. You may need to tap into the ways of our ancestors and trap, fish, or gather your food. Water, the elixir of life, is equally vital. In urban areas, you may have to rely on rainwater or even tap into underground sources. While in rural areas, rivers and streams can be a water source. Remember, purification is key. Boiling water or using purification tablets can safeguard against harmful pathogens. Shelter, your safe haven, is your protection against the elements. It can be as simple as a lean-to in the woods, or as complex as a fortified structure in an urban environment. Your shelter should be discreet, defendable, and offer protection from the elements. First aid, the art of healing, is crucial in a survival scenario. The ability to treat injuries, from minor cuts to more serious wounds, is a skill that can't be underestimated. Basic first aid supplies such as bandages, antiseptics, and pain relievers should be part of your survival kit. But remember, knowledge is just as important as the tools. Learn basic first aid techniques and how to use what's around you in an emergency. And finally, always remember that survival is a mindset. It's about adapting and overcoming, using what's at hand, and never giving up. It's about turning the unthinkable into the manageable. In a survival situation, your essentials become your lifeline. In a civil war, danger can be just around the corner. How can you defend yourself? Let's delve into this crucial topic. In such times of unrest and conflict, one's ability to protect oneself becomes paramount. However, it's important to remember the goal is not to become a warrior, but to survive. Thus, mastering a few basic self-defense techniques can be invaluable. Firstly, awareness. Yes, that's right. Your most powerful self-defense tool is not a weapon, but your ability to perceive potential threats before they become imminent. Keep your senses sharp and always be aware of your surroundings. Secondly, evasion is often the best form of defense. If a situation feels wrong, trust your instincts and remove yourself from it. Don't let pride or stubbornness put you in unnecessary danger. Remember, discretion is the better part of valor, but what if a conflict is unavoidable? That's where basic self-defense techniques come into play. Your hands, feet, elbows, and knees can all be effective weapons if used properly. A well-placed strike to an assailant's eyes, nose, throat, or groin can buy you enough time to escape. Now you might be wondering, what about weapons? While it's true that a weapon can provide an advantage in a fight, it's crucial to remember that any weapon can be turned against you if you're disarmed. Therefore, if you choose to carry a weapon, make sure you're well trained in its use and keep it secure at all times. Lastly, let's talk about mindset. In a high-stress situation, panic is your worst enemy. Practice these techniques regularly to build muscle memory and confidence. This way, if you're ever in a real-life situation, your body will know what to do, even if your mind is in a state of shock. In conclusion, the essence of self-defense is not about engaging in combat, but rather avoiding it when possible and surviving it when necessary. Equip yourself with knowledge, practice, and a calm mind, and you'll greatly increase your chances of staying safe. Remember, self-defense isn't about winning a fight, it's about surviving one. In a world divided, communication becomes a critical survival tool, but how can you communicate when traditional networks may be compromised? In times of severe conflict, such as a civil war, access to conventional communication channels can be unreliable. The internet may be monitored, cell towers may be down, and postal services may be disrupted. So, how does one keep in touch, share information, and forge alliances? The answer lies in alternative, often low-tech methods of communication. One such method is coded messages. This tactic is as old as warfare itself, with roots dating back to ancient civilizations. Codes and ciphers can be used to disguise the content of a message, making it unreadable to anyone who doesn't have the key. Even a simple substitution cipher, where each letter is replaced by another letter, number, or symbol, can be effective in a pinch. Next, let's talk about signals. Visual signals like flags or smoke signals can be used to send pre-agreed messages over a distance. Audible signals, such as whistles or drum beats, can serve a similar purpose. Hand signals can also be useful for communicating silently and covertly. Each group can develop its own set of signals to reduce the risk of interception. Then there are low-tech options that hark back to simpler times. Carrier pigeons, for instance, were used extensively during World War I and II. While it may seem antiquated, a well-trained pigeon can deliver a message over a distance of up to 600 miles. Alternatively, messages can be physically transported by trusted individuals. This method, known as courier communication, is slow but secure. In times of conflict, we must adapt and innovate. We must remember that communication isn't just about speaking and listening, it's about understanding and being understood. It's about sharing knowledge, coordinating actions, and building relationships. In a civil war, communication isn't just about talking, it's about connecting. Surviving a civil war isn't just about physical survival. How can you maintain your mental strength amidst chaos? Psychological resilience, my friends, isn't just a buzzword. It's the bedrock of survival in any situation, but particularly in one as strenuous and challenging as a civil war. It's the power to bounce back, to keep going despite adversity, to find hope in despair. Imagine the human mind as a fortress. A fortress, no matter how grand, is useless if its walls crumble at the first sign of conflict. Our minds are no different. They must be strong, they must be resilient, they must be able to weather the storm of war, to hold firm amidst the chaos. So, how do we build this mental fortress? How do we cultivate psychological resilience? Firstly, practice mindfulness. This means staying present, focusing on the here and now rather than getting lost in the spiral of what-ifs. This helps to reduce anxiety and stress, allowing you to make clear, calculated decisions. Secondly, maintain a positive outlook. Now, this doesn't mean ignoring the grim realities of war. It means acknowledging them, accepting them, and then looking for the silver linings. It means finding hope amidst despair, light amidst darkness. Thirdly, take care of your physical health. Eat well, sleep well, exercise. Your physical and mental health are intertwined. Neglecting one will inevitably affect the other. Lastly, seek support. You're not in this alone. Share your fears, your hopes, your dreams with others. Lean on them when you're feeling weak. Let them lean on you when they're feeling weak. This communal support can be a powerful source of strength and resilience. Remember, in a survival situation like a civil war, your mind is not just a tool, it's a weapon. It's a weapon that can either save you or destroy you. So nourish it, cherish it, strengthen it. In a civil war, your mind can be your greatest asset or your greatest liability. So we've explored the keys to survival in a civil war, but what are the most important takeaways? The first and foremost is preparedness. As we've discussed, a civil war is an unthinkable scenario, yet being prepared for it is half the battle won. You must have plans and contingencies in place, not just for yourself, but for your loved ones as well. Keep in mind that in times of crisis, the usual services and supplies we take for granted may not be readily available. Therefore, a well-thought-out plan, which includes alternative options for shelter, food and water, can be the difference between life and death. Understanding the environment is another crucial aspect of survival. You need to be aware of your surroundings, both in terms of physical geography and the societal landscape. This knowledge will guide you in making informed decisions, such as where to find resources, where to hide, or when to move. Remember, the more you know about the terrain, local resources, and the people around you, the better your chances of survival. Securing essentials is the next key to surviving a civil war. These are the basic necessities of life: food, water, shelter, and medical supplies. Ensure you have a stockpile of these and know how to procure more when they run out. Learn to ration wisely, and remember that in a survival situation, every little bit counts. Self-defense is another critical aspect. In a civil war, danger can come from any direction at any time. Knowing how to protect yourself and your loved ones is vital. Whether it's learning how to use common objects as weapons or understanding how to neutralize an attacker, self-defense skills are an indispensable part of your survival toolkit. Communication and networking are another significant aspect. In times of chaos, information is power. Knowing what's happening around you can help you make informed decisions, avoid danger, and find help. Building a network of reliable contacts can also provide support and resources when you need them most. Last but not least, psychological resilience is key. In such challenging times, mental strength is as important as physical strength. The ability to stay calm, focused, and positive, even in the face of adversity, can help you navigate through the darkest of times. Remember, the human spirit is remarkably resilient, and with the right mindset, you can endure almost anything. And there you have it. These are the keys to survival in a civil war: preparedness, understanding the environment, securing essentials, self-defense, communication, and psychological resilience. Each of these elements is crucial, and together they form a comprehensive survival strategy that can help you weather the storm. Remember, in a civil war, survival isn't about outlasting the conflict, it's about enduring it.